Good evening. My presentation tonight is in regards to school uniforms and why kids should not be required to wear them. In the past 20 years, uniforms have become very popular with parents. They have been seen as a one-stop shop where they could just buy everything all at once in one trip rather than having to go to several stores. However, for kids, this has become a nightmare because they don't want to be forced to wear one. In regards to uniforms, the uniform process started after several parents and schools held an open dialogue regarding dress code and bullying. It was suggested that kids were bullied over the way that they appeared at school. However, there was no supporting facts in this claim. Kids, however, did feel that their freedom of speech was being violated by being forced to wear a uniform. In my presentation today, I will provide you with information why it's not a great idea for students to have to wear uniforms. And in the end, you will see that students themselves do not like them. It's a direct violation of their civil rights. And if you were a student, would you want to wear a uniform? The topics that I am covering today on why you should not ask a student to wear a uniform are academics and cost, behavior, and civil rights. According to the bulletin, it was said that students wearing a uniform do not perform academically less than a student wearing just regular street clothes. It also states that parents who are from low-income parts of communities do have a harder time purchasing both the uniform and regular clothes to wear outside of school. Thus, they're having to put extra budget away to prepare to buy these, and especially if they have multiple children, these children will not have any other clothes that they're able to wear outside of school other than their uniforms because their parents could not afford anything else. Lastly, if a parent can't afford a uniform, shouldn't the school have to subsidize this? I mean, they are asking the parent to make the children wear a uniform to school, or else the student would get ISS, which is an in-school suspension. Next, behavior. Bullying will occur regardless if a student wears a uniform or not. The uniform does not contort to the student's body. Therefore, the uniform could be oversized. A student that's overweight could get a uniform that doesn't fit them properly, that's tight, and they could be bullied that way. According to classrooms, students should be able to be freely to express themselves through their clothing. If not, this does hinder social development. Peer relations are also affected by this. Kids will find other ways to express themselves, whether it's through buying expensive music products, such as like Apple iPhones, Apple iPods, backpacks, shoes, or purses, electronics. The keeping up with the Joneses is still going to be there, and uniforms is not going to change this. The last topic that I want to cover is civil rights violations. Freedom of speech, it's our First Amendment right, and it extends to clothing. Kids' rights are being violated by requiring them to wear uniforms. Students' rights are also being violated. Teachers, schools tend to have this metaphor or this thinking that when a student enters a school's hallways or a school's doors, that they are theirs. They control what they do. However, the U.S. Supreme Court stated that a student's rights, their civil rights, do not stop when they enter a school setting. When they walk through those doors, they are still protected under the First Amendment rights. They also have a right to education under our amendments. If they're being sent home because they're in violation of a dress code, that's violating their right to get an education. So today, with my speech, I provided you with information regarding why kids should not have to wear a uniform to school. As I have shown you, the students themselves do not like uniforms, so I ask you again, should the students be required to wear a uniform? The topics that I've covered in this on why you should vote no regarding a student's uniforms are academic cost, behavior, and civil rights violations. So again, in closing, the school uniforms have no direct effect on a student academically, and they are in direct violation. So why should we decide to deny them their rights to express themselves? The information provided today is from Shirley Farley. School uniforms should not be mandated on Norwich Bulletin. Edwin Quinn, reasons why schools uniforms should be banned on Classroom, and Kimberly Yates, student dress code violations of civil rights.